Player 1. Time. Player 2. Level 1.
Hello and welcome to Total Evercade Podcast, episode 26. How have we got to 26 episodes, Ryan? It's mad.
I don't know, 26, really, this should be our 1 year anniversary show, shouldn't it? Really?
Oh, yeah. Well, when
yeah,
is that?
Well, it's got to be soon. We're going to have to do it soon. We need to wait for Ollie to come back, don't we? Ollie needs to be here for the 1 year anniversary show. So we'll have a delayed 1 year anniversary show.
Yeah. So just so you can see we've got in the chat. We're just waiting for Derek to arrive. He will hopefully be with us soon. Obviously I've got Mr. Evercade himself, Mr. Hangout. Ryan, how have you been?
Yeah, good, thank you. And look at this, like clockwork. He's stealing my thunder, stealing my intro. Yeah, I am very well, thank you. Always enjoy these shows. Had a day off today as well, so I'm refreshed, ready to go, and ready to talk Evercade for the next hour.
Oh, nice. I had my first day back. So also we've got Mr. Triangle Face. How are you today, mate?
Hello, yeah, all good, mate. How are you doing?
Yeah, very good. Also, we've got a nice got a special guest, Mr. Nick Tyrell. How are you, Nick?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Evening, lads. Evening, everybody.
Nice. And he's never late, always on time, Mr. Sir Top and Hat. How are you, Derek?
Yeah, apologies for being late there. A little bit of PC trouble, but yeah, all sorted out now and resolved. So hopefully, yeah, all good to go. You know what these updates are like, and yeah, my PC experience on today. So yeah, so apologies to anybody who tuned in.
I've done that once. It was about past. I remember about half past, maybe 9:15. They said updates. Oh yeah, updated. I literally did not get my computer back for the hour, so I had to miss the stream.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I thought, oh no, not tonight.
So right, we'll just go through the chat and see who we've got in here. So got Megan Eurobite, how you doing? We've also got Gene Joke. How you doing, Gene Joke? Toxo.
Yeah, he referred to us as celebrities here, and he referred to us as celebrities in the Evercade Hangout earlier today. Yeah, so it's a very nice thing to be called a celebrity, but I think we're still quite a long way off to being, we're not even on like Paul Denan and Dean Gaffney level yet. We're we're right down there.
Yeah, no chance. Till we start getting free stuff, then we can be celebrities, yeah. Well, so we've got Gig, how you doing? Mr. Skipkins. Oh, Triangle Face in the chat as well.
Yeah.
How you doing, Triangle Face? Yeah. I'm not going to ruin
I'm going
his
to have
name.
a stab at this. Ruskaposti code. I'm going to go for. Let me know if I've got that right.
Grumpy Dad's in. Hi, Grumpy Dad. How you doing? Got Carrie Thomas. Hi, Carrie. How you doing? Here's a guy here, Mark.
Mark Rutland. Always great to see him.
Oh yeah, was he? Didn't he win one of our things?
He did. He won the competition, didn't he?
Mark won the competition. See, that's what I remember. Yeah, and Ziggy's in with you. How you doing, Ziggy? From across the pond, didn't he? And Lammy Pie.
And
oh yeah, Mr. Phantom Fiction himself. He is here. So, just as I get onto the new banner, just going to go to our first topic, like we always do. What have you been playing Evercade related? And I'll start with you, Ryan. What have you been playing in the Evercade world?
Well, I haven't actually played anything on the Evercade since the last show, which is really, really poor of me. So I apologise to everyone. I've just been very preoccupied with games on another system, which I was lucky enough to be gifted a voucher for. So I won't go into it because it's not Evercade related. But had I have been playing an Evercade game, hypothetically, I would have played Super Painter on Mega Cat Studios 1. Because weirdly, it come up on my Instagram the other day that you can buy the NES cartridge of it, and it come with a nice color manual, and I want to say the NES cartridge was like a turquoisey blue color, It looked really nice though. So I would have played Super Painter. I really like that game. It's one of the few games I have actually completed on Evercade. And if you've not got Mega Cat Studio 1, I always bang on about this. Do pick it up because games like Super Painter are really good. Really nice soundtrack. Really simple game where you're just jumping over enemies and you've just got to change the color of blocks. So you're painting them. So yeah, that's what I would have played had I played. But apologies to everyone. Life and other games have got in the way the last couple of weeks.
Well, yeah, okay. So, we'll go to you, Triangle Face. What have you been playing?
Okay, so I, unfortunately, like Ryan, have not touched my Evercade in a couple of weeks. But to redeem myself, I have got some new carts though. So I picked up finally both the Duke Nukem collections. I've got Duke Nukem Collection 1 and 2. So I will be getting onto those. But interestingly, I was going to mention a game I have been playing. It's not on the Evercade, but it gave me Full Void vibes. So if anyone likes the Full Void cart, which we're all big fans of here, on Game Pass, this game just caught my eye as I was going through. It's called Planet of Lana. Don't know if anyone's heard of that or seen it, but I recommend giving that a look because it plays very similarly to Full Void. And that's what caught my eye, actually. I was going through, I just saw the image of it. I thought, that looks kind of a little bit like Full Void in its graphical style. And I downloaded it and playing that, and that's really good. So yeah, definitely give that a shout if you enjoyed Full Void and you have Game Pass. Or if you don't have Game Pass and you fancy buying it. But that's my recommendation for the week, I think.
Nice one.
Planet of Lana.
So Duke Nukem carts, did you get that for your birthday? Was that what
I did,
was on
yes.
Birthday
They are actually still sealed. So I don't know if you can really see that, but I've not even opened them yet. So I'm going to wait to break those open once I'm actually getting around to playing them. So I'm still playing Demons of Esterborg at the moment. But I'm no further along than I was a couple of weeks ago when we talked about it.
Okay, so right, I'll go to you, Nick. What have you been playing?
I reviewed the Commodore 64 Collection 1. I think the video dropped Friday last week, so I've been playing a little bit of Lee on that. Subterranea as well. Love Jumpman. So that's been pretty much all because here at like Studio Towers, I've been doing all the behind the scenes work, for like all the new rebranding and that type of stuff. So yeah, I've managed to squeeze a little bit of Lee in, which is like an absolutely fantastic game. I loved it to death on like the Specky, years ago. So yeah, that's been my gaming.
Yeah, cool. What about you, Sir Top and Hat? What have you been playing, mate?
Yeah, well, it was great there to hear Nick give a little shout out there to Jumpman, because that is a fantastic game on the Commodore 64 collection. Of course, we're all looking forward to the end of the month with Jumpman Junior, which, is not just more of the same, but it ups the ante a little bit. So, yeah, it's great fun. I loved hearing Ryan shout about Super Painter, because, again, that's one of my favorite games. And, of course, it's made by some very good friends of mine, Retro Souls. And they've still got some excellent games that I'm sure we'd love to see in the future, including one that's very similar to Boulder Dash, made on the Mega Drive, and it is absolutely fantastic. But as for myself this week, I've been revisiting Piko Collection 3, and I've been playing a lot of Punch King. Very similar to obviously Punch Out or Super Punch Out. I'm a big fan of those type of games, and I grew up on things like Frank Bruno's boxing. So, yeah, I get a lot of enjoyment from there, and I've wrestled all the opponents down. I think I've got 2 left, one opponent and obviously the champion. So, yeah, I'm having a great time on that every night. Apart from, at the moment, I didn't do any today because I've got thumb strain from all the pressing of the A button. So, yeah, I need to recover from that for a few days. I feel like I have been a few rounds, and then, yeah, hopefully I can get back and get that finished off.
Brilliant, yeah, love all the boxing games. One of my favourites. Just before I say about mine, I have gifted a membership like I always do, and the account that got it was JSouth5942. So you've enjoyed a 3-month membership on me. So yeah, I'll just go into what I've been playing. So I've had the EXP for about 2-3 months now, and I hadn't really even tried the Capcom games on them. So yeah, so I was playing a bit of Ghouls and Go, and then what else was I playing on there? Street Fighter game was just too rock hard for me. It's not even going to bother with that one. And also I've been playing a bit, still trying to finish off Good Boy Galaxy. Getting a bit frustrated now because I'm starting to, I don't know, like you're looking at my percentages and I'm thinking, well, I haven't completed this well, but I'm trying to think where else is there I can go on it. Like you said, I'm still trying to find little sneaky parts to get through where I don't lose like a weapon or a jump or my shield. I'm trying to find the sneaky little gaps you can get through. But we have spoken about that game quite a lot. I am obviously waiting for Indie Heroes, like I think the rest of us are. So yeah, so I'm trying to wait for Indie Heroes at the minute. So yeah, so that's really what I've been playing. But it's Ghouls and Goblins. Is it Ghouls and Goblins or Ghouls and Ghosts? I can't remember which one's
Ghouls
on
and
there.
Ghosts.
Ghosts and Goblins,
Ghouls
Ghouls
and
and Goblins.
yeah. I always get mixed up on it. But yeah, that it's just rock hard, isn't it? I hate it when you pick a weapon up and you think it's actually gonna be a bit better for you. And sometimes it's crap. Like I just can't get it to work.
I once persevered on that game for ages back on. I think it might have been the Mega Drive version. So I'm not sure which version's on there because there's quite a few different versions, isn't there, of that. And I persevered for ages and got really good. It got really far. And then more recently, I went to go play it again, and I couldn't get past the first area, and I was rubbish. So you lose. You got to build up the muscle memory, and you're knowing exactly where everything is. It's like precision to get it right, because otherwise you just die so easily in that game. It's really hard.
Yeah, but it's just where they randomly turn up as well. Do you know what I mean? So, and then you got the birds and start getting in your way and that. But yeah, I picked up this sword thinking it was going to be better for me, and it was shit. So I could barely now can't throw it anywhere, and it can only go like where I am. And I'm like, oh, what have I done that for? And then even when I died, I came back and I still had that same crap sword as well. So I was just like, I've done myself in here. So yeah, it just reminds you just how rock solid these games were back in the day. Like, what else the other one? Obviously Mega Man. I played the Mega Man on there as well. Not X, the other 2. But that just brings back memories from me playing on the NES when I was a kid. But
yeah, brutal.
So, brutal. Yeah, these games are brutal. Like we have this luxury now of like I call it like they have like the baby mode and things where you can handhold your kid through. Like when I was playing the latest Mario game, I could handhold my daughter through it as well. Whereas back in the day, there was just none of that. It was like you either get good at games because you ain't getting another one for your birthday, so you either go and get good at it, and you got to make sure. Do you know what I mean? You got no chance. So yeah, so that was like what it was like when I was a kid. But,
pretty sure I don't think this was something which continued, but I'm pretty sure my phone someone said, "Oh, I wanted to get Sonic the Hedgehog 2." I said, "Oh, you can't get Sonic the Hedgehog 2 unless you've completed Sonic the Hedgehog 1." And I think at the time I hadn't actually managed to beat the game. It's like that's a bit unfair, but I did. I managed to complete Sonic the Hedgehog 1, and then I got 2. But that rule never seemed to come up again. It was like that doesn't seem right to me. You have to complete the game full out. I think so. I can't remember. It must have been one of my parents. I think said that, saying, "Oh, you can't get 2 unless you completed 1."
I was never allowed. I got FIFA 95 on my Sega Mega Drive, which always rhymes whenever you say that. You can't help but rhyme those words. And I was never allowed FIFA 96 because my dad said, "You got FIFA 95. Why do you need another football game?" And not until I got a PlayStation was I allowed to then get another football game.
Wow.
So yeah, I was like, yeah, but all the teams are out of date. It's not got real players on it. And he's like, yeah, but it's the same game. I'm like, no, it's not. But he was like that as well. He was like, you're not having enough. You've got one football game. That's your lot now. You crack on, and you can be Ipswich in the Premier League in like I don't know 1999 when they've been relegated 5 years. Just get on with it. So yeah. It wasn't quite that bad, but you see what I mean. I was only allowed like one football game per console, basically, until I could afford games myself.
Well, mate, I had to because I was one of 5, and me and my 2 brothers basically we would get one game, but for some reason where my older brothers obviously it was always what he wanted. So I just remember getting like one of the Star Wars games, and we just getting our ass handed to us constantly because didn't know how the hell to play it, and so it was always whatever he bloody wanted because he was the older one, which was a bit of a pain in the ass. But no, I was just saying. So, latest news. So we were saying off air earlier, Ryan. The latest news. You had the leaks of the carts we're going to talk about. That was something that came, that was something that was leaked. Was it leaked on Argos as well?
No,
it was Game, wasn't it?
Game. That was it. So yeah, it came out on Game, and the next thing, boom, everyone's got it. Did they take it down for a bit, and then Blazer just literally had to come out with it? I didn't realise. So I was there waiting for. Because it was like, coming at 2:00. So I was there waiting for it. And then with 2 minutes past 2, it's gone. Like I thought like they might be talking about it. But yeah, I think they were kind of like, well, we've got to show it now because everyone knows what's coming. But that's mad. So how do they, I don't know how do they stand on that? That another company's then let everything out, like let everything out of the bag. Do you know what I mean? Because like if that was a big company, they'd be mad, wouldn't they?
Yeah, this has happened before, hasn't it?
Plenty of times.
With game.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the second time. Somebody somewhere's leaking the info, aren't they?
Or are they doing it deliberately to build hype?
Well, I don't know because
that can also work.
Yeah, because like the two videos, God, was it Piko? No, it wasn't. It was Sunsoft, wasn't it? They released the video for first, and then it was like about 3 or 4 days later they like released the other one. So the media department, I don't think, have been sort of ready, have they, for the leak?
Yeah, it's bizarre, isn't it? It is bizarre.
Yeah.
And what was the other thing, Ryan? There was something else you were saying.
Well, before we get on to the Evercade sort of official news, I just want to say there is a new podcast called Retro Titans, which you can find on Spotify and is it Apple Podcasts and wherever you get your podcasts from. And Derek's a Top and Hat was a guest on that this week, so do go and check that out. Phil does that podcast, really top guy. Derek, was it a lot of fun doing the podcast with him?
Oh yeah, it's definitely something different to do, like a little radio podcast. So yeah, we had a lot of fun. It was nice to meet Phil. He's a great guy, and hopefully, people will go on and enjoy these shows. I gather he's got some developers on the next one, so that should be quite exciting for everyone.
Excellent. So so we've had a new Evercade podcast, and then in the world of Evercade, they found some stock of the limited edition VS Atomic Edition and the limited edition EXP. This stock room is amazing how they just find stuff.
I was going to say, it's always the story. It's always they found some. And it always just sounds like they're moving boxes around. And it goes, oh, wait, we've got another box full of EXPs here. That's what it sounds like what's happened, the way they describe it. We've found some more.
I don't know if this is right, but I assume they might have been promo products, or they might have been ones that were replacement products, or ones that went missing in the post that they've just tucked to one side.
I presume like they make over what they advertise they're selling, so that if any are faulty, they can replace them, and if things are missing, replace them. So I'm sure they have like excess stock, and then once they're happy that people aren't returning those, and they probably have like a time window before they think people are going to return faulty ones, and then go, oh wow, we've got more we can sell. But it's just the way they always phrase it. It's always like, oh, we found some in our warehouse. I always just feel like someone's been like moving stuff around and found a box of kit. We didn't know we had this.
And I believe the Atomic VS and the limited edition VS sold out in about a minute on Fun Stock as well. There was a bit of frustration.
Wow.
People were saying they had them in their baskets, and then they went to purchase it and the item was gone. People were frustrated with that, but I've had that with tickets in the past. You've had it in your basket, you've gone to purchase it, and the Ticketmaster's huge, and all of a sudden you're like, damn, the tickets have gone, and then you're at the back of the queue again, and it's just a mad scramble. So I don't put that solely on Fun Stock Store that's happened. There's might have only been 10 units, and they might have gone super quick. So yeah, it's just unfortunate, and it's just the way of the world, isn't it? The first 10 people fastest on the mouse button are gonna get them. But I do believe that there is limited edition EXPs still available on Fun Stock, unless they've sold out since the start of this. But you could go and grab yourself one of those still.
Cool. So just looking on here, great listen to Retro Titans today. Worth a listen. So right, well, as it was leaked, we're going to go through this first. I don't know if Derek, you're the main man when it comes to bigging up these games. So I don't know if Ryan's going to get out there, but we're going to have a look at this Piko collection before. We're going to do a preview on these games that have been announced for it. Are you just going to get the page up for me, Ryan? Yeah, so Ryan's going to get the page up for me on there. So, like you're saying, there is some great games on there. The main notable one for me, and it's like the big one really, he's on the front page, he's on the front of the box. That is Glover. So I don't know what everyone's thoughts on Glover is, but I remember playing it on the N64 at the time, and I did wonder if this would be the 64 or would be the PlayStation port, but it is actually come out there. It is the 64 port, isn't it? The N64 port. So that's brilliant to see that the Evercade is running 64-bit games. So Derek, I don't know if you wanted to be able to do like your brilliant rundown you do with these games, but
obviously Glover's center of the box. It's 64-bit. It's rebuilt from the ground up. There were two teams initially that have rebuilt this from the ground up. So the controls have obviously now been sorted for the Evercade, and And yeah, apart from a couple of bits are trickier, a couple of other bits are a bit easier. So I think people are going to have a lot of fun when this one drops. A lot of people always ask for this one in particular. I'm quite surprised, as I don't remember anybody back in the day owning it. I know of it, obviously, but yeah, I don't actually remember any N64 collectors actually owning it, despite obviously we all love the Oliver twins and obviously its connection to them. But yeah, for some reason, yeah, there were obviously bigger fish in the sea. I was sort of a Mario 64, a Mario Kart, Legend of Zelda, or Ocarina of Time, and things like that. So yeah, I don't remember this one even being stocked in any of the local game shops. But yeah, it's always one that pops up. So yeah, hopefully, yeah, as you say, that's probably for a lot of people is one of the big ones. One of the big ones for me, of course, is right next to it, and that, of course, is Risky Woods. A fantastic 16-bit Mega Drive game. Back then, I was very much into Gods. This has a sort of similar difficulty level and a wonderful pixel art. Basically, the monks have been turned to statues. It's down to you to rescue them. There's some fantastic levels here that I think people are really, really going to enjoy discovering, but it is one of those you've got to knuckle down. It's a bit like as we were saying, Ghouls and Ghosts. This one's not going to take it easy on you, so yeah, expect to practice, lots of repetition, learning all the patterns, but yeah, there's lots of reward there to be had. Next, of course, is Zero Tolerance Underground, the sequel, of course, to Zero Tolerance. Everybody, I thought this was really well received on Piko Collection 3, so yeah, hopefully this time round, everybody's going to enjoy the sequel. So yeah, I don't know quite what it's going to bring, but as long as it's more of the same, I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it because I really enjoyed Zero Tolerance. So yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, that's equally as good. Next up, of course, Street Racer. Again, it's a game people always ask for. I owned it myself a few different ways years ago. I owned the PS1, the Sega Saturn, and I think I had it on either Mega Drive or Super Nintendo. So yeah, hopefully this is the Mega Drive version, which was 4-player. Obviously, the Super Nintendo was only 2-player. So yeah, I'm hoping that's the Mega Drive version. And yeah, happy days. Karting comes to the Evercade, and about time. I really do love a karting game. Obviously, it's not Mario Kart, and the AI is very difficult in Street Racer. I will just say that. So again, lots of practice required. But if you take those corners tight, just like Mario Kart, and get your practice down, I think you'll have a brilliant time.
Was that the one? Did that have a football mode where you had like a ball?
Yeah, I think it did.
Drive around, kind of like a early. What's that football game with cars?
Rocket League.
Rocket League. Yeah, it's almost like a 16-bit Rocket League. Yeah, ahead of its time, I think that mode. No, I vaguely remember playing on that mode.
Next up, obviously, Target Renegade. Now, this was a massive game on the Commodore 64 years ago. This is the NES version. I can't say I've actually played the NES version, but I have played, obviously, the original Target Renegade. So I'm hoping it's got something in common with it. I like the style of the NES graphics. So, and any beat 'em up is welcome on the Evercade. So, yeah, hopefully we're going to have a lot of fun there with that one. But it just remains to be seen. Next one, Skulljagger, Revolt of the Westerners. Yeah, I mean, again, a 16-bit platforming game, basically. I've never played it, but it looks quite swashbuckling, and I always enjoy any game with pirates in. So, yeah, hopefully there's lots of fun to be had there. And platform games, just love them. So, yeah, if it's one I haven't played or beaten, I have a lot of fun. Next one, of course, is Bad Street Brawler. Now, any Commodore 64 fans out there will remember years ago, this game was called Street Hassle on the Commodore 64. I had a fantastic time when I first discovered this. You play quite sort of a tough guardian angel style guy walking along the road. Every single stage, you have a different sort of special move. Used to get old grannies used to come along and try and get you with their handbags, and dogs. You have to reach down and tickle the dog to cause him to roll over, otherwise he'll bite you. And you get a boss at the end of every stage. I used to always get stuck on this one particular one, which was about level 8. It was a huge basketball player, and yeah, he was quite deadly. So yeah, hopefully he's there and I can get a rematch because yeah, that was fantastic. Next up, Mermaids of Atlantis. Again, it looks sort of very sort of puzzle bobbly style game. Obviously, fire them up in sets. Again, always puzzle games. They're great fun relax to, or if you've only got 5 minutes. So yeah, I'm sure we'll find something interesting to explore there. Next up is Star X. Now, I actually own this on the GBA. I'm a big Star Fox fan. So any game in that kind of style, I'm going to enjoy it. And I must admit, the controls on the GBA version, at least, are sharp. The graphics are fun. And the adventure, I would say, is equally good to a Star Fox adventure once you get into it. Obviously, you haven't got the characters, but the actual gameplay wise, it's very, very similar. And yeah, I think a lot of people are going to have fun there. Lovely to see that they got the fidgets on Game Boy there. It's a brilliant little puzzle game. You play two characters, Freddie and Frankie, and basically one can, for instance, jump high and the other one can't. So you would, for instance, jump onto a platform, collect a box, and then drop it down so that Frankie can then jump on the box to get up to that platform. So you get a general idea. I don't want to spoil the game too much, but it's that sort of puzzle idea. And yeah, it's absolutely fantastic bit of fun. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting back to playing that.
Brilliant. And it just, to me, it's a lot of games on there. There's a lot of variety as well. You've got some 8-bits, you've got some 32-bit, you've got 64-bit game. So we'll go down the list and just say, is there any game on there? Just let us know what you think. So Ryan, is there any game on there that you like was popping out to you?
I'm looking forward to playing Street Racer again. I remember renting that from the video shop years ago on the Sega Mega Drive. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing that again. I can't remember if it's any good or not. I really don't know what it was like. But I just remember that I did rent it because obviously you couldn't get Mario Kart on the Mega Drive, and that was the closest thing you could get. So yeah, I'm interested to see what my take on that is in 2024 rather than in, I don't know, 1995. I like the look of Star X, very Star Fox like Derek said. The fidgets to me reminds me, does anyone remember Krusty's Funhouse on the Game Boy? The graphic really remind me of that. I don't know if it plays like that in any way, but that's just what it reminds me of. It's very similar to that, and that was always a really good game. I always looked forward to playing that on the Game Boy. And obviously Glover having a 64-bit game. I never owned a Nintendo 64, so again, it's a game that I can play for the first time. We've obviously chatted to the Oliver twins on this channel, and I'm sure they mentioned Glover when we spoke to them. And working on it. So it's a game very close to their hearts. So yeah, just look forward to it. And it's nice to have 10 games on a cartridge. It is a little bit disappointing that Piko 1 had 20, and then like the number of games seems to have decreased over time. However, I think there's a good mix there and good value for money for the $17.99.
Yeah, brilliant. What about you, Triangle Face? Anything on there?
Yeah, I would say the same sort of answer as Ryan, really. I think Street Racer is the first one that jumps out at me. And I too rented that, I think, from Blockbuster back in the day rather than buying that one. But I do remember playing it a lot and enjoying it. And I think actually years later I did pick it up. I think I might have that on the Mega Drive somewhere in my collection. And I think going back to it, it wasn't as good as I remembered. But I think you need to persevere with it and get used to the controls. But I always remember being able to attack people at the sides. When there's a character who had a baseball bat, that was always my go-to guy. It's a bald chap with a baseball bat that would like whack people. And then I mentioned that football mode as well. I used to like playing that. I think I went to play the football mode more recently, and I hated it. And I remember it being fun as a kid. I went back and like, no, I can't do this now.
Hang on. You like the football game? Is that you're just telling me after your FIFA round?
Well, when I was a kid, I was like, yeah, but it's not a football game, really. It's driving around with the football in your car. I can remember that being fun as a kid. I went back and played. It's like, oh, actually, no, I'm not liking this now. So, yeah, I think there's a bit of a difficulty curve with the controls. Like, it doesn't handle as well as like Mario Kart, but if you get the hang of it, it's a really good, fun kart game. So I think that's probably one I would be nice to have it on a handheld as well. Actually, I'd probably play that on my EXP. And also, it's nice to see we've got a 64-bit game and then 10 things in total. So that shows we could fit quite a bit on there with 64-bit games, which is interesting. And again, like most of you guys, I've not played Glover. I remember seeing it advertised at the time, but there was some stiff competition. If you got the option of buying Glover or Mario 64,
Yeah.
I think Glover is quite overlooked, but doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a bad game. It looks like it could be a bit of fun. Quite interested in this one, actually. I've not got the other Piko carts. I didn't go for Piko Collection 3, but 4 has got enough on there, I think, to convince me to pick it up.
You should pick up Piko Collection 2, Triangle Face. Got 2 or 3 football games on there that you can play.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So what about you, Nick? Is there anything on there that's shouting out to you?
Yeah, this is like an interesting little cartridge. I've got to be honest, I was pretty uninspired when I first seen it leak. And then like looking into it further, I think zero tolerance for me. The fidgets, I think, very much like, was it the humans on the Commodore 64?
Yeah.
And Street Racer, like you guys. It could be a really interesting one, a sleeper of a card, this one, I think.
Yeah, I was saying, it's caught me out as well. I'm exactly the same as you. When it leaked, I thought, but I'm interested, and I think what's the Grumpy Dad put on there as well. I'm interested to see how the camera will work on the on Glover. I know, like Derek said, it's been reworked, so because we don't have that analog stick to be able to look around. Because obviously, how all games on the N64 all just tried copying Mario 64 after they saw that one.
Yeah, basically.
So, yeah. So I am quite interested. I've played, obviously, I have played Glover as well. So I do remember a couple of bit of parts I was getting a bit annoyed, like trying to work the camera around. So I'll be interested to see what they've done there. So, but for me, exactly like you, Nick, I think it is a sleeper of a card. I think there's some really good games on there. I think, what was it, like everyone said about Street Racer, but I do think Star X is going to be a really good one as well. And like you saying, the fidgets looks great as well. So for me, as I said, I'm probably going to buy this one. But it has caught me off guard because I wasn't expecting. Like you said, I looked when I first and you deeper dive into them games. It's a good variety as well, and I think you've got, and like you said, you've got a good mixture of 32-bit, 8-bit, and I think that's personally this is how I think that they should go going forward. Just trying to get a good mixture of games on there. Like Ryan said, you haven't got like your 20 plus games. I don't need 20 plus. Like if we've got a good mixture of games, I'm actually going to look forward to be playing. I think that's the way to go. Derek, I know you've just spoken about, but is there any? Sorry, just taking a drink now. But is there anything on there for you, mate, at all?
Oh yeah. As I say, Risky Woods for me is worth it alone. It's a fantastic Mega Drive game. I don't know what it goes for these days or anything else, but once you've played it, if you're a fan of gods and things like that, then you're really, really going to enjoy that. So that for me is a huge perk, and obviously Star X because of my Star Fox love. Yeah, I know anyway that it's a fantastic game, and I think people are going to experience that, and hopefully it'll generate a whole new fan club.
Brilliant. I'm saying it is a shame that it leaked, because it'd have been so much better just to see the game come out first rather than it getting completely leaked like it did. But so that brings us on to the next one that was leaked as well. So Sunsoft Collection 2. This one, well, so Ryan's going to get out now. I was saying if you're able to do another rundown for us, Derek, but this one was leaked as well on game. And so yeah, there's 7 games on this cart.
Yeah, I mean, what more can we ask for than more Blaster Master? I mean, if you're a fan of these Metroidvania style games, and I know I certainly am, then the Game Boy Color version doesn't disappoint. Once again, Sophie 3, your tank's back, and it's just a wonderful 8-bit version. It's surprising actually how much you can cram into a Game Boy version. I was quite shocked at, it's like almost like putting Super Metroid into a Game Boy. So fantastic really to see that one on the collection. And also now we've pretty much got them all with the exception of a Mega Drive Blaster Master that I remember. I think otherwise, I think we have pretty much got most of the Blaster Masters now. So that's fantastic for fans of that genre. Next one, Euphoria the Saga. Excellent game. Certainly doesn't get the publicity it deserves. If there's anybody in the chat that's a fan of Wonder Boy like I am, well, this is very similar to Wonder Boy in Monsterland. So, if you love those type of games, you can switch up the characters and things like that, and you have a wonderful adventure, then I think again there's a whole new fan club just waiting to experience this game. And if they prepared to dig in, it obviously it's going to take time an adventure like this, but it's worth it. And I think that's a real hidden gem of the collection. Next one, of course, is Days Before Christmas. I don't know if we saw it here in the UK. I remember it at the time. I read lots of reviews in magazines and things like that. I mean, any platform is welcome, especially a Christmas one. We don't have much to play around Christmas on Evercade. I mean, the only other game I can think of outside of the Evercade is, of course, James Bond Robocod, which was very sort of Christmassy. So, it's nice for us to have a Christmas game on here. A bit of platform in there. It's very sort of simplistic. You go down the chimney, you've got your little magic, you've got to get the presents and things like that. Avoid the enemies. So and it does. It looks beautiful in 16-bit. Next up, Aero the Acrobat 2. Obviously, I spoke about this on the show before. It's got considerably better controls than the first one. And the first time I ever played it, I was finding hidden areas in the first stage, and I was able to nip by spikes and things. I didn't feel like there were any cheap deaths or anything. So that for me is fantastic to have that on the collection. Next up is Zero, the Kamikaze Squirrel. Again, it's nice to have a type of mascot gamer on the Evercade, and it's just a brilliant little platformer, and I think a lot of people are going to enjoy that one. So hopefully, it's found a good home. Peri Peri, the Primitive Princess. Basically, you've got to try and win her hand in marriage. It's like a single screen style puzzle game. Again, it didn't get a UK release. I think a lot of people are going to have a lot of fun there. So, fingers crossed. As I say, it runs as good as it looks. Finally, of course, is Galaxy Fight, Universal Warriors. I mean, it's fantastic to have any sort of one-on-one style fighting games. This was sort of a prelude to Sunsoft's Waka Waka 7, which was another massive fighting game. So, basically, I think you've got about 8 characters to choose from. And, they're all sort of a colourful cast. You've just got to, like Street Fighter 2, find the one that works best for you. It's all pretty fierce battles. And most of the stages don't really have boundaries as such. So, you can really battle all over the place, sort of like King of the Monsters. So, I think, again, a lot of people are going to experience something there that, perhaps they haven't tried before.
Yeah, good. So, as I was saying, there's 2 carts there. It's a shame they both leaked, but there is some good games looking on. So, if I just do what we did again, we'll start from the bottom this time. We'll go with you, Nick. So, Nick, is there any games on there that shout out to you?
Yeah, I like the look of the Pry Princess. I love the graphics, very like Game Boy. I'm not a massive puzzler fan, but I do honestly think I could get into that one. And the Kamikaze Squirrel looks quite fun. Euphoria, maybe. But while we're talking about kind of Kamikaze Squirrels and stuff like that, and we've got this like 64-bit game, and anybody watching from Blaze, can we please have Conker?
Yeah, good luck with that one. So Triangle Face, anything for you on this?
Yeah, I think this one stands out to me as much as the previous one. But again, that Zero, the Kamikaze Squirrel, looks quite good graphically. That reminds me a bit of what was the other one? Not Conkers, but there's a 2D Mega Drive platform game. Is it Mr. Nuts? Yeah, that I can remember Mr. Nuts being quite good. And then you've got Aero the Acrobat 2. She's got some good platformers. There's only 7 games, and other than those, I don't think many things jump out at me. I mean, I've not played Galaxy Fight. I was just looking it up to see if I've got that on my arcade cabinet. So it looks familiar, but I don't know how well that plays. So I quite like my fighting games, but some like the more obscure ones I find are very slow and clunky, and aren't as good to play as like your Street Fighters and your Mortal Kombats and things. So that's probably the kind of game I want to get my hands on it first and have a play before I decide if it's something I want to buy. I think the standout game for me on that is probably that Zero, the Kamikaze Squirrel, but it's not one I've played or heard of. So it's nice to discover new games, but if it's a new game that I've not played before, there's less incentive for me to know it's worth dropping the money on it to pick it up. So
yeah, so I know. Me and Ryan know what Tim's like. He'll find a move and then he'll just spam that to death, won't you, Tim?
That is outrageous claim. That's an outrageous. And that happened one time.
Ryan's
In all fairness, I was
Ryan's
trying
Christmas.
to do different moves and I just couldn't find anything that worked. So just the same move kept on coming up. The guy had no moves. I'm blaming the design of the character on that.
And he was making this weird noise. But yeah.
Yeah.
We'll go to you, Ryan. Ryan, is there anything on there that shouts out to you at all?
For me, Days Before Christmas, Aero Acrobat 2, the Kamikaze Squirrel, and Galaxy Fight, they all look quite nice games. I've watched Crazy Burger's review of them, and they do seem quite difficult. Or he's just not very good at games, but I'm going for they are quite difficult because I feel Crazy Burgers. I know he's in the chat tonight, but I feel his pain when he's playing some of these games because they are quite tricky. But to me, that Days Before Christmas looks quite nice. I can see myself trying to get or progress in that and putting some hours into it. I just hope Aero Acrobat 2 isn't as difficult as the first one because that is quite challenging. And I don't know whether I picked this up from Crazy Burger's video, but isn't that Aero, the Acrobat 2, super fast as well? It was like during the Sonic the Hedgehog era and Zool as well. It's like make our characters as fast as possible.
It's one of my biggest peeves of like that era of platform games is if you're gonna have a fast moving character, have the camera further back so you can see what's going on. There's so many games where like you run really fast, but like enemies come on the screen so quickly, you just run into stuff and die. It's like if you're gonna move at that speed, you've got to pan the camera back so we can see what's coming.
And that's
like
what
one of my biggest peeves.
Sonic was so good at. Really, especially Emerald Hill Zone at the start, it was so good at being able to do that. It wasn't so easy later on in the game.
Yeah. But you had enough reaction time, though, don't you? You see something coming, you know you've got enough time to react and jump. Whereas some of these, like Zool, I think is a good example of that. It's a very good game, but the thing that makes it really hard is that you don't have enough reaction time if you're running through the levels. You have to actually pace yourself and go really slowly, but the character allows you to move really fast.
Yes, yeah, that is true. The Galaxy Fight Universal Warriors, that is interesting. I'm sure I'll play it once and realise that it's not actually as good as the graphics look and never play it again. However, at the moment, I am quite interested in it and I will put some time into it. So for me, both of these cartridges are more desirable than the next two cartridges that are due out at the end of February. These are more my type of games, looking graphically wise and playability wise. I would say might be controversial, and I'm sure nobody here agrees with me. But yeah, I would rather pick these two up than C64 free and Indie Heroes free.
Oh, okay, big shout. I'll go. So, well, not many people have, only because I got into this game. You right, Triangle Face?
Yeah.
Only because I got into this game. Only because I got into this game late, and that is Master Blaster. Like Master Blaster is so good. Like I think I picked it up on the Switch years ago, and it was just a dirt cheap download, one of the games. And it's so when I say it's good, it's unbelievably good. Like the fact you get in the car can then jump, you then upgrade the car, you go back. It's so like Master Blaster is, I think, something I think a lot of us would really like. Well, I love it, but so that's my main on this one. But like you guys have been saying, it'd be good to have a look at some of these games and find some different ones. Like I haven't played Aero Acrobat 2. I haven't played the Kamikaze Squirrel either. So, but yeah, for me, Master Blaster is the main one for me. I know that some of the fighting games I find a bit like if they're not like the Triangle Face was saying earlier, if them controls aren't done properly, then they're just not. They can't live up to that Street Fighter level in my eyes. But like I said, both of these carts, like Ryan was saying, both of these carts are very good, and I think it's a very good start to the year. Well, when did they actually release that? I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think is looking good. These two carts that are coming out. So, Ryan, when was it at all?
I want to say it's the end of April. But
it is April.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is
April 29th. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say June, but yeah. So it's not that far away. So, do you know what I mean? And I think that's quite a good strong start. You got these. For me, Indie Heroes 3 I quite like, and I think these two carts coming out will be great as well. So, again, Derek is a April
That
32nd.
must be a date in Scotland. Another bank holiday they have, April the 32nd. We know they have more bank holidays than us, so it's just a day they've made up for another bank holiday.
Amazing. So, Derek, is there anything on there for you like stands out?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Blaster Master is, Enemy Blow, fantastic. It's just something about playing things like Game Boy and Game Boy Color games on the Evercade because it's handheld. It just feels natural, and the controls just feel right. So, I'm sure it'll be a seamless experience. And as I say, it's always great to have something that's not just a 5-minute game, but it's something you can really tuck into. Open up new areas with new skills and abilities, and just really enjoy that sort of Metroidvania. So I'm really, really looking forward to that game.
It's so good, and it's just a shame it never really got like it's not as big as it should be. Do you know what I mean? It's that good.
No.
It should everyone should be knowing about these games. But yeah, the something that caught me out. So as we move on to our next topic here, as the Evercade is actually running a 64-bit game, we're going to put in here. So just go around the table, and it'll be like 64-bit game predictions. So what do you think? Obviously, it'd have to be non-Nintendo. I know Nick's already said about Rare. Hold on, Conker's bad. Oh, mate, that game is brilliant, by the way. But I can't see that coming. But what type of game do you think will be coming to? What could come to the Evercade that is 64-bit? So I'll start with you, Ryan. What do you reckon?
I was thinking about this, and as we've had 2 Interplay collections, could we get a 3rd Interplay collection and have the Earthworm Jim 3D or 64 or whatever it's called? Then you've got another Clay Fighters game, but you've got 33 and a 3rd and Director's Cut. So you've got 2 games there straight away that they could put on an Interplay collection. I know they're not well regarded games, however, it would be nice to play those games, I guess, and give them a go. But yeah, that realistically, that's all I could think of from my limited knowledge of Nintendo 64 and 64-bit games, not owning one myself. I imagined all the really, really good games are going to be out of reach. But one thing I did want to raise that, yes, it's great that we're getting 64-bit games, but I feel like the 32-bit era's just sort of been bypassed a bit by Blaze. We haven't had many 32-bit games, and there's a whole wealth of good 32-bit games, which I think would probably be attainable, and we've just jumped straight to 64-bit, which is brilliant. But I just hope now they don't overlook the 32-bit era and just push with 64-bit games, because there's loads of great 32-bit games and there's great 16-bit games as well. So yeah, graphically they might be better, but it doesn't mean they play better. And I just hope that they, when they're picking games, they don't just pick games because they're 64-bit, and they actually take their time and pick games that play well.
Yeah, is that a case of like, this is what we can run now? Is that why do you reckon? Oh yeah, we can now run a 64-bit game.
I really don't know, but then equally, I don't want to go back to the days of Intellivision and get more of those games. So give me more.
What you wish for, Ryan.
Exactly. I don't want to go back to games that were made before I was even born. I'd rather keep at least the 8-bit era. Anything before then, well, for me, they should be consigned to the gaming library and tucked away somewhere. And for those who want them, great. But yeah, let's not go back to that. But then equally, don't pick loads of 64-bit games just because they can now.
Yeah. So right. Well, we'll go to you, Triangle Face. What 64-bit game do you reckon?
Yeah, it's difficult because I think when you think N64, a lot of the games are Nintendo products, aren't they? So they're not going to be able to get any of the big heavy hitters there. I think because we've had Duke Nukem, we could see Duke Nukem 64. I don't know if there's any other Duke Nukem games that we want to see, because of what we've got 6 already, haven't we? So I don't know if there could be a Duke Nukem Collection 3 with Duke Nukem 64. Perhaps some of the unreleased ones or some of the remade ones they did could be interesting. Other than that, I think I thought about this the other day because I think this has recently come out. There was a Gex collection that I think got released not long ago. I can remember seeing and thinking to myself, "Oh, Gex could be good on the Evercade." And there was a Gex 64, I think. And there's a Gex 3D, and then there's like the side-scrolling 2D one. So I wonder whether a Gex kart would be a good seller. But I don't know which studio owns the rights to that, or if that's a tricky one for them to get. Yeah, I was just trying to think of like other N64 games that had were decent enough that weren't Nintendo ones. And the only other one that came to mind was Snowboard Kids. I think that was a very popular one. There's two, as there, Snowboard Kids and Snowboard Kids 2. Possibly see that on a cart. That would be fun to see. But where they tend to have the carts being the same studio, it's whether they've got enough games to fit on the cart that would be under that branding. So yeah, wait and see, I guess. But there's probably quite a few options that we haven't thought of. So that's just the ones that came off the top of my head.
Yeah. So what about you, Nick? Is there anything that you think?
Yeah, I'm really split and I'm really interested on this 64-bit gaming. I think, like, Nintendo-wise, like you guys have said there, all the top ones are tied up. We're not getting them. I've just pulled this one down off my shelf as well. The WCW NWO Revenge. It'd be absolutely lovely to have that one, please.
Yes.
Never ever see it. Just with Jimmy Barnes in the comments early saying about one of the wrestling games. And also a point I was going to make as well over the 64-bit. I think Lamini said below, Lamini Pie there. And the Jaguar. Have we got 64-bit capability, or have we got 64-bit like Nintendo? Because I'd love to see like Atari Jaguar, and like we've had like the Atari cartridges before off like Evercade and Blaze. I mean, maybe Derek, you might know more about that. Could that be a possibility, or get some Jaguar stuff?
Jaguar stuff's pretty much in the infancy for sort of emulation. The people they need to speak to is Digital Eclipse, of course. They did a fantastic job with that Atari 50 collection. Those guys seem to be able to make Jaguar emulation sing. So yeah, Blaze need to reach out to them. They're great guys. I've spoken to them myself. I'm sure they'd be very forward in trying to help as much as they can. And yeah, I'd certainly love to see some Jaguar emulation.
Yeah, I think so. Is there anything for you, Derek? Anything you think that 64-bit wise they could bring?
Well, a very easy one they could bring, of course. Piko Interactive own, which is called Dragon Sword, which is an N64 game. They're currently farmed out to another company at the moment. I can't think of off the top of my head. They're sort of remastering it for PC, I think, or something along those lines. I'll find the paper later and remember. But so yeah, Dragon Sword was quite a fantastic little game. So yeah, and remember these games are. Although the 64-bit, basically, in order for them to run on the Evercade, they really need to be rebuilt from the ground up. So it needs to be a company that is prepared to allow Blaze to do so. So yeah, they need to be open to sort of that idea. I mean, an ideal one I remember on N64, which was pretty much a definitive version that I played, was of course Resident Evil 2. That was fantastic on N64, brilliant. But unfortunately, I can't see Capcom bending to allow you to have the source code and mess around with it. So, yeah, that sort of thing will be off the table. But yeah, something like Dragon Sword, yeah, I don't see why we couldn't. There will be something else 64-bit later in the year, but yeah, you'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, obviously, once again, that will obviously be rebuilt from the ground up. But nonetheless, though, a fantastic game.
Yeah, but I think, as you're saying, as we've got this, like, we've got 64-bit now running on there, it is now opening the door to be like, I know you're saying it has to be built from the ground up, but now you're like, people's expectations now are now wanting to see more 64-bit titles. Like I was saying, like what Ryan says earlier, the fact they have bypassed like your 32-bit games, which is mad because there are some brilliant games out there. Like you're saying, like Resident Evil 2, like 32-bit would be great. Do you know what I mean? Like from the PlayStation 1 days. Do you know what I mean? Even the Resi collection would be great. But like I can't see us getting it. But I'm just going to run through what a few people have put on here. So you got Duke 64 is bound to happen. What was it? Blast Corps was great. I remember that one. It was brilliant.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. Yeah.
Tricky, was that 64? Was that PS2? I can't remember if that was PS2.
I don't remember now.
Body Harvest.
Oh yeah, Body Harvest. Yeah.
Destruction Derby 64.
Can I just stop you? What was
Oh, yeah.
Body Harvest about? Were you some like mafia boss going around?
Yeah,
cutting
that was
organs?
by
body and
that was
people.
by Rare, wasn't it? And you were vehicles and you had to smash things up or something. Yeah.
It was like a
Okay.
destructive kind of racer type game, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, I remember
I
something
remember.
about destroying things.
Is it a Destruction Derby 64? Another one I remember, 1080 Snowball. I think you'd need
Oh,
the
yeah.
analog stick for that one, wouldn't you? Generally, you used to have to go up and quickly use the analog and try and do his moves. But I think Obsolete Worlds, it's on. He goes, it doesn't think we're going to see many N64 games, to be honest. Yeah, there you go. Nick's got it. This one's required reworking source code and doing weird things like turning off the anti and analyzing. Yeah, so just like you said, it has to be completely built from the ground up. But
So it's a lot of messing and meddling. It's much easier to put a PS1 game, to be fair, on there. I mean, if we'd have had the PS1 of Glover, I don't think it would have suffered too much. And at the end of the day, the game's there to play, and I think it would have been equally as enjoyable, like it was for 40 Winks. To be truthful, you can get obviously a 64-bit of 40 Winks, but you wouldn't really get any more adventure for your money. So I think the PS1 was ample.
Yeah. So you got here Space Station. I remember this game. I loved it. It was a brilliant game. And then also Nicholas, he always writes hundreds of us. Do you remember Extreme G? I remember that.
Oh, Extreme G was a cracking racing game.
Yeah,
if you liked Wipeout, that was fantastic.
Yeah, Road Rash 64.
Yeah, Road Rash 64.
and never heard
Revolt, of course. Yeah, which was the racing game with the RC cars. Yeah, fantastic.
I never heard good things about
version of that as well.
I was saying Clay Fighter 63 in the third. I never heard good things about that. I always heard it was like one of the worst.
We've got Clay Fighter 1 and 2, which don't get very good reviews, but I actually quite enjoy playing them. I find the character models fairly solid, and it's not Street Fighter level of fighting game or even Fighter's History, but I still think it's an alright game. And the fact we've got those two, why not have Clay Fighter 63 in a third and the Sculptor's Cut as well, just to finish the collection?
Yeah, as long as we can get Superman 64 to go with. Rampage 64.
Rampage 64. I love a bit of Rampage.
Yeah, as you put it, Glover 64, because PS1 Glover was poorly rated in comparison. But yeah, so I was saying someone, I think it was Crazy said earlier about I was saying about the camera, and he said that's been mapped to your trigger buttons, your top buttons. So that's quite interesting. Let's just see how they worked around it. So that must be one of the reasons why also remapping it from the ground up is a good way of getting them controls set in so they're actually playable. Rob's put in here he would love a Destruction Derby as well. So I'm saying that is our main topics, but now we can go on to our questions. We've got some questions starred, and what we'll do is like a round table, unless it's a Dear Derek one just for Derek. We'll have a look and see which ones we've got on there. So hang on, I need to get rid of me on there. So it's 4 off topic. But what does Derek think of the song? If your dad doesn't have a beard, you've got one's fine beards. What? I don't know what Gold 2's on about here.
Oh no.
I don't know who started that one.
Can't say I've heard of that song. I don't feel it's safe to look it up either. So
no. Yeah, I heard it. Actually. I have a question. Why do you think Blaze has shown no interest in releasing other types of controllers, such as adding mouse support or selling mouse or analog controller? So we'll go around to everyone. What would we all think about this? I'll start with you, Ryan. Have you not on mute?
No, I imagine they haven't, because there's limited money to be made in it, and there's so many other third-party controllers out there. For example, when we had a get-together over Christmas and Triangle Face came around mine with his wireless controllers for the VS, I've only ever used the wired controllers in there, but as soon as he put those wireless controllers in there, it was like totally different way of playing, and it was better in a way because the controllers were better than the ones you get with the VS. And I guess Blaze know that there's so many third-party controllers out there that there's pointless them making anything better.
Yeah, Tim.
Yeah, same answer really. And they're plug and play. Like I know. I think you guys have had some of the people on before talking about it, and they said they did test a lot of third-party controllers, and a lot of them just automatically map, so it's not even hard to get a third-party one going. I would like to see a mouse. I think that'd be a good shout if they could get a mouse on there, but I mean, a mouse is hard to come by if it's going to be compatible, if they can make it so it will work. And then I'm thinking maybe more of a joystick. I think a joystick would be a good peripheral to have on some of the games we've got, especially for the shoot 'em ups that Ryan loves. Because he loves the shoot 'em ups. I think that'd be good to have a joypad. But yeah, I don't see why they don't do that. But at the same time, yeah, there's a lot of other stuff already out there. So maybe there's just not enough demand for it.
Talking of shoot 'em ups, sorry, just to interject, it's really good to see no shoot 'em ups on those 2 recent cartridges as well. I just want to get that out there.
Get that out there. It's all about, what about you, Nick? Anything on this question?
Yeah, I think it's like a supply and demand thing. I think I'm with Tim, where I think like a mouse would be like a good option. But at the minute, we've only got sort of like the Delphine, haven't we? That kind of comes to mind immediately. We just want a blooming good arcade stick, don't we, really? I think.
Yeah, 100%. I would love that. How about you, Derek?
Yeah, I mean, people have been calling for wireless controllers and arcade sticks for a long time. Blaze have held a few talks with the likes of 8-Bit Do and things like that, and chatted things over and crunched the numbers. Whether we will see something in the future remains to be seen. But yeah, at the moment, nothing, no rumblings in that direction. So yeah, we'll wait and see. We're almost 5 years into the Evercade this May. So, yeah, is it too little too late to bring out a controller like that? What will the lifespan be of the console? I don't want to, for instance, invest in a 50, 60 pound arcade stick and then it's all over in a year. So, yeah, it's sort of finding out those sort of things going forward before investing in perhaps any more sort of hardware related things. But yeah, at the moment, obviously you can plug in your Nintendo Switch arcade sticks and things like that, and it's very compatible in your Xbox 360 controllers and things. So yeah, we'll just wait and see. But yeah, I think if Blaze is going to do anything, it's either act immediately or it's too little too late for me.
Yeah, I think you're right there. But like, couldn't they do like a partnership or something with 8-Bit Do, like you're saying? Like, just
yeah, absolutely.
Like,
yeah, that was something that was being looked at. Yeah,
like make us one, because there is some great, like you're saying, like we were saying, just chucking in Tim's wireless ones, instantly better controllers, wireless, and it was so much easier just to throw the controllers around. So it just seems a bit odd that we haven't got some sort of. Like I said, I do like how the Evercade controller. It's just a shame we haven't got that option at the minute for them. So right, our next one is from Mr. Skipkins himself. Could we see Blaze add a filter option for Game Boy games to choose between black and white and original green screen? I think that would be brilliant. But I'll start with you, Nick. Is this something you would like to see?
Yeah, I think that'd be wicked. I've got like a real soft spot for, like I've said earlier tonight, the Game Boy graphics, and to be able to do that would be great. I mean, we have like filters for like CRT lines and stuff and scan lines, don't we? So yeah, absolutely fantastic idea. I'd vote for that one.
Yeah, Tim, would you like this one?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a good idea. I don't know how that would be done, because I know like you get like Game Boy Color in Game Boy games, don't you? It depends how it's been made. I don't know how easy that is to achieve, because it's more than just a scanline filter, isn't it? It's a color change. But yeah, I mean, I think sometimes it's easier to see in black and white than in the green. But I think for nostalgia, I'd always be picking the green, because you can't beat playing a Game Boy game in the green coloring. Even if there's a color option, I sometimes still prefer to play it in green than in color, just because I feel like that's the way that they were meant to be played originally.
What about you, Ryan?
It would be a nice option. I don't know whether I would use it or not. However, if it is introduced, I just hope that it's tested fully first and it doesn't cause any other issues to other cartridges or anything else. So yeah, I'm all for adding more things to the VS and the EXP. However, I don't want that to then have a detrimental effect on other things. So yeah, I would rather not have it and not have any issues. However, if they could guarantee that it worked from the off and it didn't cause any other issues, then yeah, all for it.
Yeah, Derek?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of the Game Boy, so yeah, any extra options we can get are appreciated. So yeah, I'd love that, certainly. And I know Blaze are working very, very hard with lots of different options in the future for us. But yeah, whether that's amongst them all, I don't know. But yeah, I would love it because it's Game Boy related. So yeah, fingers crossed, Nicholas.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I was saying, it could just be a shader because I know you can get a lot of them on the old dodgy retro boxes from China. You can get different shaders and stuff. So like, it is. I mean, it must be doable. So
Yeah.
but I think it'd be great for him to add that to us. So next one, have you guys seen there's a cart combo unlock coming with the unlock carts? Obviously, Derek might not be able to speak on this one, but has anyone? I'll open the floor to anyone. Has anyone seen this cart combo? Because I haven't. No.
Nope.
Derek, is it true or is it?
You'll just have to wait and see. Yeah, when it comes out. Yeah, I can't say here or there. No, the Blaze will be listening in. They'll be over my shoulder. Yeah. So yeah, I can't confirm or deny, but yeah, I'm sure you'll all have fun hunting in case there is anything.
Okay. So next one, dear Derek, why haven't Blaze announced the 2024 roadmap? So just for you then, Derek. Why haven't they? Come on, Derek.
No, yeah, we will see a roadmap, obviously. Yeah, not quite ready yet, but yeah, there will obviously be a roadmap and obviously showcases again this year. But yeah, dates and everything is to be announced. So we've just got to wait a little bit longer. It won't be too much longer, and obviously we will get to see that lovely roadmap and yeah, and then plan accordingly.
Yeah, so hopefully we should get that soon. Right, saying we're coming into end of February, coming into March. Already 10 months left, which is crazy. I just said that out loud.
Yeah.
So, do you know what I mean? So should get that soon. So from Obsolete Wells himself, will we ever see a pair of Evercade underpants to match Funstock's exclusive socks? I'll open it to everyone. So do you think you'll be getting some of them Evercade budgie smugglers that you've always wanted?
Boss that lad,
Who's gonna model them from the world of Evercade though?
Yeah, I think if they do, yeah, I think Ryan should have to wear them on the podcast after they.
Right.
You can imagine it, lads, can't you? Right there in the undies, waving the Intel Vision 2 around.
So, okay. And the last question is from Mr. Skipkins himself. What do we think the Funstock Sunsoft 2 Piko full bundle bonus item will be?
I think we just answered that, haven't we? It's the pants, yeah.
So yeah. Well, the thing is like that Evercade cleaning cloth. It's in high demand, isn't it, Ryan? Like
it is.
They need to just literally just get it out there. Like, everyone's after it. That was the main thing people kept going on about was that Evercade cloth when we done that giveaway.
I do wonder if they'll find some stock, as they tend to, of like some of these bonus items, and you just buy them separately. Because like I missed out like a lot of the time when they have these bundles. It's a cart that I'm not going to buy, so I haven't really got anything yet. But yeah, I don't have any socks. I don't have a mug or anything like that. So if you could buy the cup on its own, I probably would pick one up. But yeah, I wonder if we'll get the option just to buy them separately at some point.
With Mark Rutland's in the chat this evening, who won the competition and has done our graphics for this show, along with Crazy Burger, I'll give him a shout out. He's done the top right-hand corner little graphic as well. Let us know if you've used that mug and did the waiter or waitress. Is that what you call it? No, that's not what you call them, is it? The barista when you've been to Cafe Nero or Starbucks or Costa Coffee, or there are other cafes available in the UK. Did they comment on your Evercade? Nick's got one as well. Have you used it? Does it work okay?
Not in a coffee shop, no, but yeah.
Works fine.
You've got to take it out in the wild.
You need a photo of you out in the wild.
Definitely.
So yeah.
The only thing as well with like the socks is my socks don't really last; they get holes in. So I'd be a bit upset when the day comes where I'm gonna have to throw the Evercade socks in the bin. Whereas I think the mug's gonna last a bit longer.
Well, I think your pants might last longer, won't they?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, the pants last longer than the socks.
Depends on how you feel about. Right. So before us gets out of hand, we'll just see that is the end of our show tonight. So thank you to everyone. I'll just do some last minute things. If you are new to this channel, please give us a thumbs up, comment, get the comments in because we always read them. especially when we're not live. So please comment on the video underneath. Basically, Nick, did you want to give a talk about what's going on with your channel soon?
Yeah, I've got a big video out on Thursday for my channel's 4th birthday. Big rebranding, and we have got a giveaway as well. There's a mystery box full of retro items. Just say thank you to all you guys out there who, watch all the videos and stuff. So yeah, big week for the channel, guys.
Brilliant, that's good. So yeah, so get onto Nick's channel and make sure you're there Thursday. What time is it dropping, Nick?
Midday.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
There is
in your lunch breaks.
There is a link to Nick's channel in the description of this video, and you'll find all of our names listed as well, and various other things like Top and Hats X account. There's a link for that as well. There's a link for Crazy Burger. So yeah, just look in the description of the video, and you'll find various bits in there. But yeah, do check out Nick's video on Thursday at midday. His Evercade content's really good. He talks through the games, goes through the manual, and plays 2 or 3 games as well. And yeah, it's just good. I won't spoil it for you, but yeah, do check it out, definitely.
Cheers, Ryan.
Brilliant. Yeah, so thank you to everyone. Thank you everyone for joining us. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Hopefully we're all playing Indie Heroes 3, unlike Ryan, who wants his other carts more.
Did we see the poll results?
Oh yes.
Oh,
So yeah, Ryan, get the poll result up for us before we go. So
Yeah.
what was the question again?
It was, and it was suggested to me, and I forget who suggested it now. How many carts will Evercade release in 2024? So the answers were the same as last year, more than last year, or less than last year. And with 57%, the public voted 42 votes, which is brilliant. So thank you everyone for voting and taking part. It really means a lot. The same as last year they've gone for.
Same as last year.
And it was Mega Neutrobite who suggested it. And apologies that I forgot that you were in the chat very early with that suggestion for a poll. So if you do want to suggest a poll for the next show, you need to be in that chat early, almost as soon as I set up the stream. You want to be in there with your suggestion.
Yeah, get it in there, and then if Ryan can then give you a shout out. Also,
and I'm sure
Crazy
it
Burger.
will. I was going to say, I'm sure it'll be pants related for the next one. What color will the Evercade official pants be, or something like that, or what style will they be?
Also, Crazy Burgers wants a full C64 cart free review from Ryan. I think we all do. Crazy. I think we all want that.
I'm gonna have to
yeah,
pick it up, aren't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got to now.
So
I will do. I'll get
on
it.
that note, guys, we'll leave it. So thank you, everyone. Just gone over an hour. So hope you all enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one. So see you later.